Craig, second half comeback there. You must be pleased with the manner that the lads obviously showed, especially in that second half this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke about it at half time. I thought we were really poor in the first half. We came up with too many errors. We talked pre-game that when the weather's like this, you've got to look after the ball. I think we came up with too many unforced errors, trying to play off a slow ruck, and rather than going direct and generating some ruck tempo, we tried to take a shortcut and going wide too early. But we spoke at half time about just simplifying it all and just going direct down the middle and trying to play quick and generate some ruck speed. And I think it was a game for that today because the ruck speeds I thought were really slow for both teams, and going wide off slow rucks is just a no-no. So really pleased how the middles played. The scorers show that we went through the middle of them, and that's a game plan that we talked about at half time. So really pleased to execute with that.
You knew coming here it was going to be a really big 4-pointer, two sides, similar records at the bottom of the league, and obviously getting that victory must be pleasing. As I say, everyone over there must be thrilled, especially with the win.
Yeah, they are. I think it's just one of them relief things, because we know as a group that we're better than some of the performances that we've shown. We've shown it for periods. I've said previously, that we've been in pretty much every game at half time, either winning or within a score. And even like today again, I think the most pleasing aspect about this game is that we actually played a better second half than we did first half, which is sort of converse to what we've been doing previously. So it's about maintaining that and trying to join them two halves together, and to win a game like this, which is nip and tuck and a little bit scrappy. Sometimes that's better than winning a game that you win by 30 or 40 points. So hopefully we can take a lot of confidence off that, particularly with losing Morgan in that first half. Another bit of adversity. Yes, we're looking at his injury list and we think we're going to get a few people back over the next couple of weeks, and every time we think that, a couple more people get injured again. So I had to readjust, put Jack Bussey in that half again, which his utility value this year has been outstanding for us. He's played half back, he's played in the back row, he's played at 9, he's played at 13, and he's done every job that he can for us. So having him on the field or in the 17 is invaluable to us.
Just a word on Morgan, how is he doing after obviously coming off in the first half?
Yeah, he's done his calf. We don't know how bad it is. If he felt it a little bit as he had a sprint, I think just before we scored the first try. So he told us to keep an eye on him, and he said he'd see how he'd go. And then he said it was no good, so he came over to the side, and we had to make that enforced change. And again, I think that maybe caused a little bit of disruption in that first half, to maybe a little bit of panic from us and having that composure. We're losing Morgs and Bussy going into that half, and maybe trying to do certain things that we'd not really planned for or we'd not talked about doing. So I think, like I said, the half time came at a decent point for us, particularly after conceding a really, really poor try just before half time from his own scrum. We chuck the ball on the floor, they pick it up and dive over the line. So the game's hard enough as it is without gifting the opposition easy tries that they don't have to work for. So I said, really pleased in the second half that they reevaluated at half time and came out and got the victory.
Losing half back, obviously the way we did in the first half, and then coming out for a second 40 with a different combination, having to rotate. You must say there, it shows what it shows about the characters that we've got in the dressing room here.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes when you're lacking that little bit of confidence, you just need a victory like this. And that's one of the reasons why we just simplified the game in that second half, only having one out-and-out recognised half-back out there. And I felt it played into the game conditions and the opposition as well, that we needed to be more direct than we were in that first half, and having that excuse almost that we've only got one recognised half-back allowed us to just really simplify it and go back to basics and allow the middles just to try and dominate and dictate. And and they did that. And there were a couple of times in that second half where we'd got the field position and we just clocked off a couple of times from the inside and allowed a line break from the opposition, which then puts you, momentum-wise, it puts you back in your own 20-metre area rather than dominating in the other area of the field. So it's getting the players sort of to understand the way that I think about the game and dictating and dominating field position, and how that momentum swing can affect the game for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
And obviously now we've got that 2-week break. I can imagine getting the victory. That break can't come soon enough to obviously allow maybe some players who are out to come back and then give us another really good chance against Hunslet in a fortnight.
Yeah, definitely. We've got we're hopefully going to have a few more players to choose from against Hunslet. Last time we had a couple of weeks off, we thought that as well. Then we lost 4 in the week leading up to the game. So I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but we're all hopeful that Titus Gwazi might be back. We'll obviously have Jack Billington to choose from, and Darius Carr thought he was outstanding today for his first game, and I think it was only the second time that he's played in the back row. So for him to do that in his senior debut for us and play as well as he did in that back row, I thought it was outstanding. So yeah, we're hoping we're going to get a couple more people back before the next game to choose from, which then for me it improves that competition and contest in training as well, because the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks it's just been pretty much the squad of 18 or 19, and you've not got that much leeway as a coach to sort of say, well, you're not training well enough, or you're not playing well enough, or there's that competition for places there where people then need to lift their intensity in training.
And long journey back up north, but I can imagine it's going to be a very enjoyable one on that bus back.
It's certainly going to be more enjoyable with a win, yeah. And it's never great coming down to London and having that 3.5, 4 hour journey back up to your home ground again after a loss. But certainly the win will make it a lot more enjoyable. Put it that way.